So
Mm.
how is the landscaping changing in the real estate accounting industry, right? That's what we are talking about. And it all varies. Is the accounting different for each type of categories of the property, like multifamily,
Mm.
commercial, storage units? Yes, it is, right? And all those need to be kept track of. Now, when we say 27.5 years, we are talking about depreciation. That's the first thing that comes in mind for us CPAs and accountants and bookkeepers, right? So, what I'm saying is, do you need to know all that? Unless you are a tax preparer or a tax strategist, then yes, you need to know which property is depreciated at what, right? But when it comes to accounting, you need to classify those properties accurately on the balance sheet so the tax preparer or the tax strategist can advise your client accordingly. So that's why I say it is required, right? And a lot of Excel sheets you need to keep in. Sometimes data can be kept in the accounting software or a third-party software that you can pull up the information right away. Now, the metrics that we need to is how we keep track of the data, right? And the data has to be more detailed than what your clients want because, as you know, is the same concept as construction industry. We are going to apply the same concept from job costing to unit costing. Mind you, I did not
Right.
say property costing. I'm saying unit costing, right? So that unit costing bundles up to your property, levels up. So it's important to keep track of your net income, your EBITDA, interest before taxes, depreciation. You need to have all those levels of metrics in there. And that's only kind of derived if you keep track of your books the way the client and the tax strategist would help your client to the next step, right? So when it comes to trust accounting, many states in the US have mandated that they have to keep a separate bank account for escrow accounts. Even if your state does not say that, I 100% recommend all my clients to have a separate trust security bank account
Okay.
without any exceptions. If they say no, then they are not our client. So I have in our business, we have developed a set of rules that if you say no to this, then we cannot help you because we want our job to be simple. And at the end of the day, when the state comes to audit them, they have their numbers accurate, right? So, how do we reconcile all these properties? Use, how do we optimize our time in helping the client and saving our time as well, right? So, as long as you use the same concept as construction industry, using the items and products and services, the details behind the scenes, that is what is going to help you get your multi-property reconciliation done, quicker and faster.
Right.
So it's very important to keep the details. Now, it also depends on different types of properties on your balance sheet, as well as if you're using QuickBooks, you're going to use classes to track your properties. If you're doing job costing, unit costing, your customers will also be your units and property name. Depending if it's a property management company or if it is a real estate investor's books. So there's a couple distinction in there and variation how we use. Um, Now, when we go to lease variation complexity is, again, that's a commercial property. Now, commercial property categorization has many different categorizations. They could be multifamily, they could be RV units, they are renting storage units, right? But we are talking about commercial property, shopping centers, industrial areas where triple net, double net, and single net escalations, CAM charges, and all those different factors that is around their lease are different all the time, have to be tracked. So again, like I said, you have to know the back office, right? Not only, hey, money came in, this is your rent, and you move on. You need to learn a little bit about the lease. You have to read it. You have to get a grasp. From the leases, you create a lease abstract, and from that, you do the reconciliation, which literally we have a client with 10 properties and 200 tenants, and we do the lease and escalations, rent escalations, CAM reconciliations, all within 1 hour at the end of the year. The only reason is because we have our workflows, we have our processes, we have the lease abstract, we have everything down to the pack. So when it comes, we can get this done from A to Z really quickly. And it's so much easier when we use QuickBooks Desktop. We can get all the information really fast, right?
Now, is that enterprise or just QBD?
No, enterprise. So
enterprise.
We rarely.
I just wanted to clarify that for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
QBD, Pro and Premier, we don't use that much more with clients. You know, there are a few clients with the older version, 2022, where they don't have to subscribe for it.
Oh.
You know, pay subscription, but they can still use it. So we are using them, but you know, we are slowly switching everybody to QuickBooks Enterprise because it's so much easier and faster.
Yeah.
And you know,
and I know we're going to get to that in a little bit. We're going to get into the enterprise, some of the things that you're able to utilize in your niche here.
Yes, definitely. And you know, with all this complexity, all this data, that learning, from onboarding to process to workflows and everything, you have to have a team. And without the team, you cannot work, right? So our teams have like 4 or 5 tiers of clientele. So we have a couple account managers, we have a couple, assistant account managers, and the chain goes down. So we offer outsourced real estate accounting and bookkeeping services to other CPAs and accountants as well. But the teams have to be trained, right? And the only way we found we could train them is by creating the processes and checklist, right? And we found even with our clients' in-house teams, what lacked, along with which we improved in our team, was accountability. If you don't have that accountability of each of your team members, you are going to lose that deliverables to your clients. And with doing all this at the same time, your clients' books are going to be audit ready anytime.